Hello. All right. Let's go over something fun that I got to experience today because it's fun. Ego. Ego. You gotta check that shit. Trust. I promise. But, you know, if you don't, you can get injured and you do stupid things because funny. Today, I decided to let my ego be a little bit of a dictator today, which is dumb, trust me. And I decided to play with weight that I've never played with in ranges I've never done. And I am lucky that I do a lot of very high mobility, very extreme range of motion stuff, because I might have popped my shoulder today. I could have done that today like an idiot. And then instead of being like, you're being stupid, and being like, no, I'm different, I went and did more. Because it was my chest, I decided to do a different chest machine with an extreme range of motion, with more weight than I've done on that machine. I got one rep, went for the second, and was like, shit. Because, guess what? Never done them. Haven't done the machine in a minute. Have gotten stronger, but I have not trained in this specific range of motion ever. I could have got hurt. But instead of just backing off, being like, all right, cool, we'll just not do anything crazy, I decided, no, my back's fine. We're gonna go and push the envelope a little more. Whatever, got lucky. I was at least ready for the weight and this range of motion since I've been doing it, and I've been feeling like I could hit this way. And then afterwards, instead of being like, okay, let's just go do my regular shoulder and let's go do my regular arm routine. No. Let's go see how heavy I can overhead press. That's going to be in this video. That is going to be in this video. You're going to see how close I was to getting hurt and how dumb I was because I let ego control the workout. Not my meticulous ideas of we're going to do this. No, it was no. You are not going to do what you just said. No, you're going to go be a young dumb kid. Well, not dumb kid, not kid, but young dumb adult, and try and do things you're not supposed to right now. Because I've got more food in my system. I've got it. I can do it. And I decided to overhead press a plate. Yeah, that's not too crazy. Except I've never touched that weight. I don't overhead press at all. So why did I think it was a good idea to go do it? I don't know. I finished my workout, which, okay, whatever, cool. But the reason I want to talk about ego is because I could have got hurt. And a lot of times, when you let ego drive you in things, you get to the point where you're either going to get hurt or you're going to get lucky. I got lucky because ego is a driving factor of most injuries in anything. In sports, in getting in a street fight. Letting your thing of, I got angry, so I'm going to move it now. Instead of like, fuck, that hurt. I'm going to just back up for a second. Feel what's hurting. See if it's just like a, kind of hurt. Why did it hurt? Oh, I did this wrong. Okay, let's just breathe. No, I'm fucking angry. That hurt my ego. I'm going to go do it again with worse form. But since I have adrenaline going through me because I'm angry, I'm going to go do it. That is the dumbest thing that a lot of us do. I am now and will ever be part of the club. Because there was no need for me to go out of my way and do this shit without thinking. Like, I just thought it was funny. I thought it would be, because I could. But I do not want this to repeat itself because it gives me a higher likely chance of getting hurt. And if I get hurt, I can't train. And if I can't train, I can't get big. That's the whole goal of this series, is to get big as fuck. Like, I have like a year and a half to put on as much muscle as I want. Like, as I need before I decide to cut down. Which means this will be a year and a half long, just growing as much as possible. Meaning not getting injured, staying away from injuries as much as possible. Because getting big is consistency. The more consistent I am, the bigger I get. So, what I'm hearing from myself and everyone I've talked to about this shit is try your best to leave the ego at the door. Try and try and try. Oof. Yeah. Try to leave your ego as much at the door as possible. Yes, you're gonna have a little bit of an ego. That's a good thing. Because if you have a little ego, you're gonna push yourself. Remember, like, well, if I moved this weight last time, why can't I move the next? Why can't I just continuously get stronger and bigger? I didn't say you couldn't, but that's a little bit of ego talking. But you can't be overly cautious like some of these science-based lifters, because if you're overly cautious, you start setting up wacky shit that takes longer to set up the exercise than to do the fucking exercise. So you're taking forever just to do a tricep push down. Elbow move. Tricep move elbow. That's what your tricep does. It is a part of the shoulder joint, but really all it does is move your arm from bent to straight. And your bicep and brachialis goes straight to bent. That's all it does. That's all you need. And so, telling you that, why would you try and take out every little thing? Well, my shoulder does a little itch, so I'm gonna fucking lock my shoulder down. Oh, I'm shrugging the weight down. Okay. If you're shrugging the weight down, just control it up. Your triceps do not care. Your body does not care. It's figuring out how to move the weight. That means, over time, if you have bad form, bad technique, your body is going to adapt. In the beginning, whatever, you have terrible form, and then you watch videos, or you look at everyone else, or you ask someone who has more understanding than you do, ask what's wrong with your form, you fix it. Over time, you get better at the specific movement that you were trying to do. That is neurological adaptation. And when you have neurological adaptation, guess what? You get stronger in that position. Meaning your body as in a whole gets stronger. And when your body gets neurally adapted to something, that means it gives your muscles the go-ahead to use as much force as possible. So when you start taking out all of these little body English shit, because you're trying to isolate the muscle, because from the studies you have read, muscle grows through resistance and muscular adaptation. So, what I'm hearing is I'm going to try and only use this specific muscle so I can recruit more muscle fibers. Yeah, that's a sound reasoning. But every test we do, when you try and isolate the muscle to the point of no return, we are sitting there setting up all this fuck shit. It's crazy. You don't actually recruit all of your motor units. You recruit all of your motor units, but we have seen no reason to understand why you're recruiting more motor units creates more muscle mass. Hypertrophy is what creates muscle mass. Not recruitment of muscle. Because if you recruit more muscles, it just tells your body, okay, we don't need to grow. And when you are just doing it to get bigger, it recruits as many muscles as possible and then realizes it doesn't have enough. It's recruiting all of these muscles and yet it still can't move it. We make the muscle bigger. Mechanical tension. If you're following, then why does setting up a most complicated thing to isolate a movement not create the most amount of muscle? Because you're too busy setting it up than working out. It's the simple part. This is the simplest reason why you are not growing. Is because you were too busy, and I mean too busy, setting up this complicated thing and like fucking trying your hardest not to move shit, that you're actually taking away the brain power to move this weight. And you're too busy saying, fuck you, don't move this, blah, 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 I can feel this tension. You're taking away the focus because you start focusing on everything else. It does not need to be complicated. Just work the fuck out. It's very simple. If it feels good, like it gives me a burning sensation in the specific muscle I'm trying to train that way. I don't give a fuck how you train. If you train in the gym, if you do whatever the fuck you're doing. Oh, yoga? Cool. Bouncing on a goddamn tennis ball? Cool. Bouncing on a trampoline? Amazing. Move thy body. Move thy body, move thy spirit. I don't care. As long as you're being active. I don't give a fuck. Because the first thing is, the hardest part of getting into a routine is starting. And if you can find people like a Red Room, like Vasa Red Room, or a trampoline instructor thing, or a yoga thing, amazing. But you cannot supplement your training. You cannot supplement your diet with training. Trust me, you can't. You can try your darndest. The only way you're going to supplement your diet with training is if you are treating your training like a job. And from my understanding, you or I don't have the time for that shit. I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to work out 8 hours a day because I refuse to fix my food habits. I'm not lying. I don't have that energy. I don't have the time or the want to do it. There's a guy that I've seen on the internet. He's the first ever motherfucker that I have seen outwork his diet. But he does 5 training sessions a day. That is a full-time job. The reason I'm trying to say this, the reason I'm saying this is because it does not matter how you train, because the first thing that happens with your physique is going to be your diet. Because the first changes you will see is through diet. Because if you fix your diet, you fix your training, you are set to go for the rest of your life. I'm not saying cut out all sugars, cut out sweets. I'm saying limit them. Limit it. The reason I say limit it is because it is easy to overeat sugary sweets. Sugar's amazing. Easy carbohydrate, spikes blood sugar, tastes amazing. But it's easy to overconsume. It spikes your blood sugar for a short amount of time, and then you drop. But if you fix your diet and start eating more whole foods, vegetables, fruits, fucking yogurts, anything that most doctors tell you to eat, if you take that shit, if you start caring about your diet, you start caring about all this shit, and then you start training, or you start training and then start caring about your diet, I don't care which one you do, you will reach your goals. Because goals are set because you can do them. Or you can't. Be a dreamer. But then again, I'm some guy on the internet. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Have a good day. Have a good night.
in my shades. Riding low and slow, this vibe never fades. Palm trees dancing in the hazy sunlight glow. West Coast rhythm, let the good times flow. Cruising, grooving, feel that phone